Hello everybody, Rainbow Shake here, and it's that time of year again, Christmas time, but also the time where we're going to be ranking every single animated film of 2022. Yes, I did this last year with every 2021 animated film, but this time we're going to be doing obviously this year, which a little bit different. We're going to also be adding in all the live action films I've seen this year. So yes, we're going to be kind of like switching back and forth from animated to live action, but I'm mostly going to be talking about the animated films. I'm mostly going to give like a tiny summary of how I feel about the live action films and where they are in the ranking overall. But that's what we're going to be doing this year. I really wanted to do actually a live action film last year, but due to time I couldn't. And I really wanted to talk about the live action films this year. So I thought, why not combine the two? So yes, that's what we're going to be doing this year. Full disclaimer before we start this video, let me be clear that I actually do like almost every film in this ranking. Yes, this is worst to best, but I genuinely love almost all these films except for the very bottom one. The very bottom one I hate so much. But other than that, I do generally like every single film on this list. I just have to rank them from worst to best. But yeah, just disclaimer over, and let's get started with the ranking. So in last place is actually a live action film, and it's Halloween Ends, and I do not like this movie. This is the only movie on this entire ranking that I genuinely hate. I don't like this movie. The characters are dumb, the story is dumb, and almost everything about this movie is just dumb. The only thing I actually liked was the ending and the final battle. That was actually cool. That was genuinely amazing. But other than that, the rest of the movie was just hot garbage. It didn't make any sense. The dialogue was horrible, and it's just an overall bad film. So this, in my opinion, is the worst film of 2022. People are going to hate me for this, but Marcel the Shell with shoes on, I think that's the name. And again, minus, Halloween Ends, I remember, I do generally like almost every film on this list. So I do like this film, I just think it's pretty weak. I do like the story, I like the creativity, I like the dialogue and the animation, but overall I just found the movie mostly boring. Still, I can understand why people love this film, I can understand that, but in my opinion it's not that amazing. But yeah, that's about it for this movie. Next up is that Pinocchio movie. I can't remember the rest of the title, but yes, it's that one infamous Pinocchio movie with that infamous line. And yes, in my opinion it is the worst animated movie of 2022. But I still kind of enjoyed it because of how dumb it was. It was basically like it's so bad that it's good type of movie. And also it has a talking horse. And usually talking animals will win me over in any movie. And I do like the talking horse in this movie. So yeah, that also won me over, I guess. But yeah, the movie is bad. But again, it's so bad that it's good. The dialogue is horrible. The animation is it's so bad. But it's so hilarious. It's kind of hard to like not enjoy it because of how it is really bad. So it's kind of hard not to enjoy how bad it is. But yes, this overall anime movie takes the crown of the worst animated movie of 2022. But even then, it's still kind of fun to watch. Next up is another Pinocchio movie, this time Disney's version of the story and basically a live action remake of their classic story. And what I think about it, even though I made videos of Honest John and I love him, I still think the movie is not that great and honestly pretty bad. There are some cool stuff in it though, so I'll give it that. And parts of the movie do look beautiful, parts of it not. A lot of it also looks pretty bad. But yeah, overall, the only thing I can really say is the redeeming quality of this movie is Honest John. I think he was done well. He was animated beautifully. But that's about it. Other than that, this movie is just not that great. Alright, so next is Ice Age, The Adventures of Buck Wild. I don't really know its stupid title, but yes, it's that. The latest Ice Age movie, and by far the worst Ice Age movie, and it has the worst of everything. It has the worst animation, the worst voice acting, the worst story. So yeah, for all you people saying that Ice Age Collision Course is the worst one, you're just wrong, because it's this one, Ice Age The Adventures of Buck Wild. This is the worst Ice Age movie. But even then, I can't help my love for Manny, so he technically kind of saves the film. He also has the best recast voice, like even though he's obviously recasted, the voice is still pretty good. I think the only good voices in this movie is the replacement for Manny and Diego, and Buck is still the same voice actor, so whatever. But yeah, I think the voice actor for Manny and Diego are the only good like recast of the film. But other than that, the rest of the voice cast is just awful. The villain is awful, the animation's awful, and yeah, who would have thought that like the setting of one of the best Ice Age movies, Dawn of the Dinosaur, will also have the worst movie in the series. So yes, this movie is bad. It has some redeeming qualities. Like, there's some cool parts. I like how in the beginning they do talk about mostly the story. I feel like they left out Peaches and something and stuff like that. But it's cool that they also, like, you know, reference the first movie, which they rarely do. And I love that because I love the first movie, so it's cool that they reference that one. But overall, it's not that great of a film. Manny's only redeeming quality in some parts of the movie. But other than that, it is a pretty bad film. Here's probably a film that no one knows about, Fireheart. Yeah, even I kind of forgot this film came out this year. I had to remind myself because I made a list throughout the year. So yes, next up is Fireheart. And this movie is kind of cute. It's pretty cool. Though I do think it goes over the top in a lot of things, especially since this movie is like about the first female firefighter, which is really cool. But I feel like the story went a bit over the top with this. I don't know. It's just weird. It involves like magic or something. Again, I kind of forgot about this film, but it's still pretty alright. It does have some pretty bad jokes, but the animation is still pretty alright. It's still pretty. It's not like the worst. It's definitely better than the Pinocchio movie, but you know, and also definitely better than the Ice Age movie. So yeah, at least it's above that quality in terms of animation. Again, the story is genuinely grounded, but then it gets a little over the top near the end, which is kind of weird. But again, not bad. It's just weird. But overall, I do think it is like a fun film, a pretty fun film to watch. It's cute, even though there is some bad jokes in it. I still think it is a pretty alright film. Here's a movie with a lot of missed potential, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. I was honestly really, really excited for this movie when the trailer came out, because it looked like it was going to be like a Roger Rabbit, Space Jam type of film. And while it's trying to replicate that, I feel like it didn't really succeed in that direction, because it was it's hard to explain about this. This movie's hard to explain. First off, the plot is interesting, but I don't think it was executed very well. Honestly, I was kind of feeling uncomfortable throughout the whole movie, and some some of the animation for some of the cameos and characters also didn't help. I don't know. Some of them were animated pretty well, but also some of them were kind of jarring and not really that great. It's really weird. But also let's talk about the cameos. The cameos are pretty good, but over time they kind of like lose their like charm. Like unlike like in Space Jam or Space Jam: A New Legacy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or even Ralph Breaks the Internet. Those cameos, for me, they stuck with me. Those were amazing. But the cameos here weren't all that amazing. They kind of just were like, oh, that's cool, and just move on to another thing. Yeah, I feel like the cameos weren't utilized very well, and they didn't really stuck with me, unlike, you know, Who Framed Roger Rabbit or even Ralph Breaks the Internet. But yeah, the cameos were alright, but I feel like they could have been better utilized. But secondly, Chip 'n Dale were honestly pretty alright for the most part, even though Chip's animation wasn't all that great. It's obviously like they're trying to do like 2D, but they're using 3D to do that. I feel it does not look that good in this movie. I think Tom and Jerry 2021 did a lot better job at doing that, but in here it's not that great. But I do like the voice actors. I gotta admit, I do like the voice actors for Chip 'n Dale, though I kind of wish maybe they were a bit high-pitched, kind of like Toad in the new Mario movie. But other than that, I still do like them. And even though it kind of sucks that we don't get a lot from the other Rescue Rangers, it was nice to see them. But yeah, overall, even though there were some good parts, it mostly was just kind of just a meh film. It's not really, you know, the cameos didn't really help it. The story wasn't all that, like, it had potential to be great, but the execution wasn't that good. Yeah, it just overall was just kind of a meh film. Next up is Chicken Hare and the Hamster of Darkness, and I actually already reviewed this movie not too long ago. Well, actually when the movie came out on Netflix. So if you want a full, more in-depth review of that movie, I'll link in the description below. But let me give my initial thoughts of the movie here, obviously. So I think it's a pretty good film. I do like it. I do love the style and animation for it, and I love how they use animation techniques due to the characters and also backstory. When they're explaining like Meg's backstory, it's like all stop motion-y, which is really cool. And the pig army has a really cool animation. Like it's different from any other character in the movie, and I really like that. The quest is interesting. I do kind of like the villain, and obviously I love Meg. She's still like the best part of the film and the best character. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I guess my only real criticism of this movie is just Chicken Hare himself. He can just be really annoying sometimes. Not too annoying, but pretty annoying. So yeah, he is kind of like the worst part of the film, but he isn't that bad. But overall, it is still a good film, but that's honestly all I can really say about it. It's not bad, it's not great, it's just a good film. And Meg is still the best character. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And here we have Hotel Transformania, I think. Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, who cares? But anyway, yes, here is presumably the last Hotel Transylvania movie of the series, and it's kind of a shame because this movie kind of doesn't really end all that amazing. I mean, it does set up for the ending. It does have a setup for like a possible ending of the series, but it was kind of a little bit of a letdown. It's kind of hard to explain how I feel about this film because it's been a while since I've seen it, because this literally came out in January for some freaking reason. But it's not bad. Let me just say it's not a bad film. It's just, I wouldn't say a nothing movie, but there's not really anything very spectacular about the movie. It's just a fun animated movie, and that's all I can really say about it. It's just a fun animated movie. I do admit they do have some funny jokes involving the monsters turning into humans. Those jokes are pretty funny. But overall, it's still just an alright film. It's still a fun film to watch, but it's just kind of a meh film. Y'all are gonna really hate me for ranking this movie so low on the list, but the next one is Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I'm not saying the movie is bad. Not to say the movie is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I really do think it's a great movie, and I do like it. I just don't think this movie was made for me. The way it was structured is just so different compared to like any movie ever, which is really cool. But for me, I didn't really love it all that much for it. Well-crafted movie, great actors, great script, great cinematography, great music. It just overall put together wasn't a film made for me. It's at least better than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I would never hurt anyone. I'm not a monster.